Is there a point of maybe diminishing returns when it comes to personalization and outreach?
If you go back to like, let's say the early 2000s, right? And you look up, telemarketing, and maybe there's some videos out there of people who are like, doing telemarketing, which are cold calls. They're being highly personalized, they're being highly relevant. Sure, they have a script, but they're using that as a skeleton to get through and to get a real conversation going. We went from one to one, and marketing was always one to many. And so with marketing, you just talk broadly, right? And see who that message captures. With all automation platforms, with AI in the mix, right? With everything included, we kind of got to a point where the one on one interactions became one to many. And then you get situations where sales reps are spraying out millions of emails a month, all with the same exact message. Just small little tweaks because you have a clay agent, it's giving you some small little tweaks of personalization, right? And that just isn't as effective as the one to one motion. So to your question, the things that do help, I actually like to call it more like relevancy than personalization, because personalization, when I think of personalization, I think of like, your dog's name, right? The high school you went to. When I think of relevancy, I think of what are you specifically doing right now that would trigger me to reach out to you, and just make it a totally genuine as humanly possible, right? They put up a LinkedIn post that they're working on this project, or that they're happy that they did this project. Maybe you help with those types of projects, right? Reach out. Hey, for your next project, this is how we help. These are the typical challenges people have. But
Mhm.
find these triggers. It's really hard to find those triggers because it takes time and research. And that's something that we have lost as, people in go to market, as sellers, as marketers. But now, there's a bunch of tools that can help you with that type of stuff, right? But that's the point. Like that's where you want to hone in on. That's the relevancy there, is understanding what they're going through right now that can trigger that outreach.
Are there points in which outbound sellers get relevancy wrong? What are maybe the biggest pitfalls?
The biggest disconnect is not so much on the actual information that they're using, it's the assumption that that information means something that it doesn't actually mean. Company gets funding, sales rep reaches out, hey, I just saw you got funding. That's not necessarily a relevant trigger for what you're trying to sell. Maybe a way you could spin it is like, congrats on getting your funding. When we talk to folks in your position and they just got funding, they're thinking about where they're going to put that money towards. Are you going to be working on these, three different projects in the next, quarter or two? If so, we can help with one of them.